Hey everyone, today I'm going to be doing a comparison video between these LA Police Gear tactical pants and these 511 tactical pants. Specifically, these are the LA Police Gear Shrike pants, and these are the very common 511 Tac Lite Pros. I've been wearing Tac Lite Pros for a couple of years now, and I really like them. Never had any issues with them, but they cost about $50, and I wanted to see if there was a cheaper alternative. And I order a lot of stuff from LA Police Gear, so I decided to try a couple pairs of their pants. These cost right around 20 bucks, so I wanted to see if I could get similar quality but for less than half the price. So first I'm going to go through the features and kind of compare the features of both of these two pants, and then I'll give you a little bit about my experience with them so far. So starting out with the left fronts here, you can see that both of them do have a little accessories pocket here. I know typically on the 511 pants they say that those are specifically for cell phones, but you can see on the 511 pants it's a little further down, so depending on how long your arms are, it can be a little bit easier to access the pocket on your LA Police Gear pants as opposed to the one over here. And for those of you who do plan on putting a cell phone in here, I have a iPhone 5S, and you can see that on the 511 pants it pretty much fits that perfectly. It'd be a little bit difficult to go any bigger than this. I don't know, especially with the 6s or 6, like the 6 Plus. I don't know if it would actually fit in that pocket. Whereas on the LA Police Gear pocket, you still have a little bit of extra room. To kind of demonstrate that to you, I'm going to grab a AR mag and try to demonstrate. You can see that the AR mag slides really nicely into this pocket and only has a little bit showing up at the top. I know this pocket is not intended for this, but just to kind of show you the dimensions of these pockets. Whereas if I put it in the 511 Tac Lite Pros, you can see it sticks out significantly more, and it's definitely a lot tighter in there. So I mean, you're probably not going to have to use it for that, but just to make you aware. I know when I typically use these, especially if I'm just, wearing these every day, I'll typically tuck this Velcro cover up underneath inside there. That way I can easily pull my phone in and out of my pocket without the annoying Velcro sound. But that's just what I like to do. And then if you look at the pocket here on these LA Police Gear pants, you can see that the profile of this pocket is very similar to the new 511 pants that are coming out. You can see that it kind of goes nice and straight down and then has a little shelf here, which is really good for putting a knife right there. And then what that does is it still keeps it nice and open for you to be able to get your hand in the pocket without the knife kind of getting in the way. But you'll notice that it does not have the same reinforced stitching that the 511 pants do. If you take a look at these ones, the profile of this pocket is a lot more difficult to get your hand in and out of, especially if you have a knife there. Granted, there are some other places to put knives, but in my opinion, it's much easier to get your hands in and out of your pockets on the LA Police Gear pants, whereas it can be a little bit tight in these 511 pants. And then one other thing you might notice right off the bat is when you're looking at the belt loops up here, pretty much all of the belt loops on these LA Police Gear pants are this same exact shape right here, so kind of narrow, but it's still big enough that you can get a decent sized belt in there. I'll go ahead and put exactly what size belt it goes up to right there for you, because I can't remember off the top of my head. And then whereas on the 511 pants, it's pretty much every other one is going to be this much bigger, more kind of supportive belt loop, and then intermixed is also these more narrow ones. So it doesn't make a huge difference to me, honestly. If anything, having these bigger belt loops gets in the way if you want to put like a holster or anything else on your belt line. It does give you a lot more limited space, but it does obviously provide a little bit more support. And then another small difference between the fronts of these pants is on the 511, as most of you know who own these, you have the button snap up here with a zipper, which, if some people like that, some people don't. On the LA Police Gear pants, it has a more traditional button style closure with the zipper, and I think they also have ones that have the full button front, very similar to what we had in the Air Force. Me personally, I kind of like the button a little bit better. It seems to hold a lot better. A lot of times, depending on what you have on your belt, I've noticed that the button can kind of unsnap on its own. But one thing that can happen is if you do overload this button on the LA Police Gear pants, that thing's just going to pop off, and you really have no way of securing it, unless you resew on another button. Whereas with this, if it becomes if there's too much pressure on this button, it can unsnap, you fix whatever was going on, and then you can snap it right back on. So it's less of a permanent issue. So I'll go ahead and put these pants, go ahead and move them so you can look at the cargo pockets, and then I'll talk about the cargo pockets. Looking at these cargo pockets, pretty much right off the bat, you can see one of the biggest differences is that the LA Police Gear pocket is a lot bigger, and it also has a slant cut top, whereas the cargo pocket on these 511 pants on the right is much smaller and more squared off. They both have two pieces of Velcro or hook and loop to secure it. Personally, I prefer buttons when it comes to cargo pocket closures, but the Velcro is nice. It's quick to actuate, but if it gets dirty or even just over time, they tend to wear out a lot more than buttons. But and to give you again some size reference, since I know a lot of you are familiar with the size and shape of AR mags, you can very easily fit two of them in the LA Police Gear pocket and be able to still close the top, whereas on the 511 pants, the top of the magazine goes a little bit too high. So if you left the closure open, you could very easily put two magazines in there, but it's going to be a little hard to do it and still be able to close the top. Again, granted, you're probably not going to be in the situation where you have to do that, but if you're taking a class or something and you don't really have a lot of places to put mags and you want to be able to keep them on your person, that is one option to be able to do that. And then you can even fit an AK magazine in the LA Police Gear pocket and still be able to close it. You're probably not going to be able to get two in there, especially since there's no retention devices in the cargo pockets. It's just going to droop down and just kind of sit in your pocket, especially with a full one, because these can get pretty heavy. Whereas with the AR style mags, it's going to help. Just the profile of them is going to make them sit upright a lot better, and especially once you get two in there, they'll kind of support each other. Now, in one way that the LA Police Gear cargo pocket is different as well is up top here you do have a little bit of access to your pocket, whereas you don't have any of that on the 511 pants. Just for example, if I take a flashlight, I can very easily clip it onto the outside of the pocket and be able to access it without having to actually open up the pocket. Now, this is good and bad because, again, you can access it without having to open the pocket, but you have to remove it in order to be able to access the pocket, because that's just going to clip it down, and you're not going to be able to open up the flap without removing it first. And for reference, this is a Eagle Tactical, let's see if I can get it to zoom in on that, Eagle Tactical D25C. Been using this for a long time, and eventually I'll probably do a review on it. But you can also very easily put a knife on there. This is just a Lightning OTF knife, because one nice thing about Oregon is they have really awesome knife laws where you can have an automatic knife as long as it's not concealed. You know, it'll fit nicely in there, or even what I've been carrying EDC a lot lately, Spyderco Manix 2. Granted, I don't usually put a knife down here, but you can very easily put one in that pocket and be able to access it again without having to open up the flap. Now if I slide these down, we can go ahead and take a look at the rear pockets on both of these. Whereas the cargo pocket on the 511 has the slant cut and the 511 does not, the LA Police Gear pants on the back do not have a slant cut pocket, whereas the 511 do, which again, these have another piece of Velcro or hook and loop, whatever they want to call it, to secure the rear pocket. I typically don't use the rear pockets on pants that have cargo pockets. Like if I'm wearing jeans, I'll typically keep a spare pistol mag and a flashlight on one side, and then on the other side I'll keep a lighter and a multi-tool. So on the pants with cargo pockets, I just typically, instead of having them in the rear pocket, I put it on the same side in the cargo pocket. So I don't use these a whole lot. I suppose the slant cut makes it a little easier to access, and then also one thing you can do is if you want to put a knife in your pocket or a flashlight on your pocket, and since the 511 ones are a little harder to get your hands into on the front, you can also, with the little reinforced patch right here on the rear pocket, you can very easily clip something to your rear pocket, so it's still pretty much in the same place as if you had it in your front pocket, but it doesn't obstruct you actually getting your hand in your pocket. And then because, especially with the Velcro here, that will keep it from sliding up if for whatever reason it wanted to, it's going to help keep the seat clear, just to be able to make sure you can sit down without anything getting in the way, which is kind of nice. Now the reverse sides of both of these pants are going to be pretty much identical to the other sides, with the exception that on the 511 pants, on the right rear pocket, you do have this little strap here. I've never really been able to find out exactly what that's meant for. I suppose you could maybe use it as a drag handle, but on the pants is a really odd place to be trying to drag someone from. But you know, you can, I guess, hook stuff to it if you want to. Again, on the LA Police Gear pocket, you don't have that. But again, you still have the same profile, front pocket as before, the straight down with a little shelf here for a knife. Cargo pockets are identical to the other side. Where it is different between these two pants is where you had the cell phone pocket on the 511 pants on the left side. On the right side, you have another little sleeve pocket here, similar to what was on the left side of the LA Police Gear pants. And then on the LA Police Gear pants, you don't have anything in front on this side, at least on this version. Again, to kind of demonstrate the size, I can't even slide a AR mag in there, but I know this is more meant for knives, so you can very easily slide a knife in there, no matter how big it is. It'll sit in there nicely and keep it out of the way. To keep you from having to put it on your pocket, you can have it right there in front. And then another thing you'll notice that's different is the 511 pants have this little D-ring here if you want to hook stuff off, whether it be your keys or whatever, whereas the LA Police Gear pants do not have any D-rings anywhere. So now the most important part of this is my experience with these two. As I said, I've been wearing the 511 pants for years, and I've really liked them. Pretty much any firearms training class that I take, I always wear 511 pants just because I know that they're really durable, really sturdy, don't have to worry about them tearing or ripping or anything on me. But again, they're a little bit expensive, which is why I tried the LA Police Gear pants. Now, these pants, I haven't worn them to any training classes, and the main reason for that is I was doing some force-on-force training with these shortly after I got them, and I was going through after doing one of the drills, and I was picking up all the magazines that I dropped on the ground, and as I bent over to pick them up, I got this really nice tear going right down the middle of the backside. So I was pretty disappointed about that, because again, it was one of the first times that I'd actually worn these, and it was really disappointing because, again, you know, I really wanted to like these. I wanted to be able to justify paying less than half the price for tactical pants, but that's kind of unacceptable. Now, one thing that I noticed, these are both 34 pants, but I noticed that the 511 pants are a little bit more roomy than these ones. If you do get these, I would suggest going probably a size bigger on the waist, just because they seem to be a little bit tighter in the rear end, at least for me. Now, my girlfriend appreciates that I have a little bit of a bigger backside, but it definitely makes pants a little bit more prone to tearing for me. So, you know, this is not the first pair of pants that I've ripped down the back, but it's mostly just been jeans before. But even considering that this is supposed to be a ripstop material, that all happened in one go. So, you know, a little word of warning there. Just be aware that these are definitely a lot less durable than these LA Police Gear pants. And considering in these LA Police Gear pants, as I said, I've worn them in a bunch of different training classes where, you know, you have to go from standing to kneeling to prone back to standing and all that kind of repeatedly over and over. So a lot of bending over, a lot of kind of agility stuff, and these have been able to go with me every single one of those drills. So these are definitely considerably more durable than these LA Police Gear pants. Now, if you're on a budget and you don't want to pay $50 for a pair of pants, then I really don't think the LA Police Gear pants are that bad. Again, I would definitely go at least a size or two bigger on the waist just to prevent what I had happen. But, you know, just be aware that these are going to be a little bit more delicate, which me personally, in tactical pants, I don't want to have to worry about delicate. I want to be able to wear them and not have to worry about them tearing at all. So if you don't mind spending $50 on a pair of pants, which again, especially now after trying it with the $20 pair, I think it's worth it. If you don't mind spending that money though, I would definitely go with 511, especially some of the newer models that they put out this year at SHOT Show that have the different profile front pocket, which I think is going to work a lot better for me at least. I would definitely go with 511 pants. These things are awesome. I know there's some other ones out there. I think there's Vertex makes some tactical pants, but I haven't tried those. But I know these 511 ones are really good. The LA Police Gear ones, you know, again, if you're on a budget, I think they'll be an okay option. Just, you know, make sure they fit, and, you know, maybe do a squat test or two before actually trying to use them in any training classes or anything like that to avoid embarrassment. I hope you were able to get something out of this video if you've been trying to decide if it's worth it to pay 20 bucks for a pair of tactical pants. You know, I hope you were able to learn from my mistakes here. I do like the LA Police Gear tactical shorts, so I still will buy those, but I don't think I'm going to be buying any more of their tactical pants. Probably just stick to 511 from here on out. So again, hope you were able to get something from this. If you have any questions or comments, if you've had similar issues, or if you've had awesome experiences with either of these pants, go and leave those in the comments below. But again, I hope you were able to get something from this, and I appreciate you watching.